This video is sponsored by Netmarble. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? It is Powerbang, and I'm back with another Lineage 2 Revolution video. Thank you guys so much for watching. In an earlier episode, I covered how to prepare for Open Siege and Fortress Siege. In this episode, I'm going to cover what happens in the actual battle and how you guys can win. So if you haven't downloaded Lineage 2 Revolution yet, definitely do so. The link is in the description below. Let's go ahead and get into the guts of today's video. So on the screen, you've got a map. There's going to be two teams, red and blue, battling for control of a fortress. Now, knowing this map is going to be super important for you, as capturing objectives during the course of a fortress or open siege is paramount, and that's going to be absolutely imperative for you guys to be able to secure a victory. So let's go ahead and take a look at just one half of the map. So turning this map on its side and viewing it from your spawn's perspective, on the near side of the map, towards the bottom, you have your spawn. There are 3 circles. The one in the middle is your holy artifact. This is the holy grail. This is what the enemy is trying to imprint upon in order to claim victory. This is what you are trying to protect. Now, flanking the actual holy artifact on each side are 2 defense towers. These are very, very strong and put out an immense amount of damage, so they should hold up for a while trying to defend your holy artifact against the enemy's advances. But before your holy artifact can be attacked and imprinted upon, they actually have to break through your gates first. You have gates on either side of your spawn that can be passed through in one direction only until the defense towers guarding them are taken down. Now, you respawn when you die in battle, and you can actually go out through your gates, but the enemy cannot pass through your gates going the other way. They first have to deal with the 2 defense towers on each side that are guarding your gate. Now, if we take the map and actually flip it around, so we're looking at your opposing team, their spawn and defensive setup is an exact mirror of yours, so you should know exactly what you are going up against. On each side of their fortress, they have 2 defense towers guarding a gate. Your job on offense is to take down those defense towers to open the gate and allow yourself access to their spawn area, where they will have 2 final defense towers protecting their holy artifact. Your job and your goal in order to win is to imprint upon the enemy's holy artifact, and that will get yourself the victory. One thing of note, in Open Siege, anyone can imprint upon the holy artifact. All you have to do is click it, and it'll channel for 15 or 20 seconds or so. You have to protect that person channeling to make sure they are not interrupted until they actually finish the channel. Once that's done, you win the game. Now, in Fortress Siege, that's where it's only your clan versus only another clan, and it's not a bunch of random people. That is completely different. Only the leader can actually imprint upon the holy artifact if you are in a fortress siege. The last few pieces on the map to take note of are in the center. We've talked about our spawns, we've talked about the defense towers and all that, but there are 2 altars towards the center of the map. These altars are neutral when the game starts. Now, you are going to try to imprint upon these altars the same way you would the holy artifact. One person tries to imprint, the rest of your team tries to defend the person imprinting, and if you can successfully take control of these altars, you will actually receive a buff. 10% to your whole clan's attack will actually be buffed if you take control of an altar. Now, if you take control of both altars, that means that both altars are your team's color. You will actually get a 30% buff to your attack, and that is actually massive. So the way a lot of Fortress Siege and Open Siege games are played it's a battle for the altars. Whoever has control of both of these at the same time is basically 30% stronger than that of their opponent, and they're able to basically mount a giant push and get through the towers and get through the gates, and there's not much the enemy can do to stop them. So control of these altars, the altar of wind and the altar of earth, are paramount. Now, just because your team gives up an imprint on your altar, that doesn't mean you're out of the fight. It doesn't mean you should quit trying. Every single imprint that goes onto an altar only lasts for 3 minutes. It starts a 3-minute timer. You'll actually see that on the right-hand portion of your screen, and that means that after 3 minutes, the owner of the altar will go away. It goes back to neutral status, and you guys can fight to control it once again. So it pays to watch the timer to make sure you're in the right position at the right time to mount an attack to take control of those altars. The very last thing to talk about is the Spring of Recovery. The Spring of Recovery is in the very center of the map, makes it a nice little spot to do some battle, but the Spring of Recovery is where a lot of people hang out because it actually regenerates your health and mana over time. It ticks every so often, and you get a small percentage of your health pool back without being out of combat or without having a healer nearby in your party. So the Spring of Recovery is where you need to go if you're low on life, low on mana, and that will get you back into the fight very quickly. It's time for the battle, guys. Open Siege and Fortress Siege will get ready to count down, and as the match starts, you're going to get the start notification. All the players are going to get control of their characters, and you'll be able to pass through the open gates to the battlefield, and this is where things get fun and exciting. Pay attention to the mini-map in the top right-hand corner of your screen. Red dots are your enemies, green dots are your clan. You got to make sure that you are targeting those red dots, and if you find a big cluster of them, beware, because they can put out serious firepower. You heard right there, the Altar of Wind has been imprinted. That means that the altar is now ours for 3 minutes, and we're gonna have a nice buff of 10% to our attack power. Beware though that if you're going up against an enemy, try to spread out a little bit. If you're clustered in a tight group, a lot of the ranged characters are rocking an ability called Meteor Storm. Meteor Storm is an AoE damage ability that can hit a whole lot of players at once, and it can basically wipe out an entire team if they're standing close together in a pack. So watch out for that, spread out, and make sure that you're doing damage against the opponent. If you do happen to die, you'll be sent back to spawn. No big deal. Wait a few seconds to respawn. Click that revive button, and then you'll be sent back to the battlefield so you can start wreaking more havoc on your enemies. So the first thing you saw just a moment ago is somebody imprinted the Altar of Wind, and that has got to be your first priority when you open up a siege. Go get those altars capped, get them on your side, and take advantage of the huge buffs that they provide. Getting the one on your side of the map should be pretty easy. Go straight there, imprint that before your enemy can actually do that. On your side, you want to make sure that you take control of at least one of them. That way, you're breaking even on that 10% attack buff. Now, if possible, try to capture the enemy's altar as well. In this case, it was the Altar of Earth. You want to try to capitalize on the huge 30% attacking buff. Once your clan does have both buffs secured, it should be kind of a game to play for the buffs. And once you've got the buffs and your clan has 30% additional attacking power as compared to your enemy, you want to start grouping up to start taking out those defense towers and making a huge push towards the enemy gates. Once the defense towers are down and you can make your way through those gates, at that point it's going to get pretty difficult because there's a main choke point now where the enemy is trying to defend, and that is at the gate itself. Once you've made it through the gates and you've gotten to the actual artifact at the very end, realize that there are still 2 more defense towers that are going to be defending the holy artifact. It's not easy to take out at all. You've got to be really strong with a group to be able to not only stop the enemy from spawning and taking over that area, but you also have to be able to be strong enough to quickly take down the defense towers and hopefully have them not wipe out your attacking party. Now, if you go too strong, too aggressive, the combination of the defense towers as well as the enemy opposing forces, they can actually start chipping away at your attacking force, forcing you guys all to respawn, and you lose a lot of momentum that way. So the way you win the siege in the end is to imprint the opponent's holy artifact. In open siege mode, anybody can do this because there are no clan ranks or leadership. It's just kind of a free-for-all, but anybody can actually take down the opponent's holy artifact. Now in fortress siege mode, which is your clan versus another clan, that is different. Only the leader can take down the holy artifact of the opponent. That means that the leader has to be online, has to be playing, and ultimately has to be the top dog on the battlefield. They have to get there to imprint that, so it's important that your leader is present, active, and, ready to put the team on his shoulders, so to speak, for Fortress Siege. You guys may have noticed the ranks flying up on screen for certain players. So-and-so has achieved Top Knight or Commander or General or whatever the rank happens to be. There is a hero buff system in place for the Open and Fortress Siege modes, and what this means is as you continue to accumulate points as part of playing the Siege, this could be imprinting an altar or making a kill, you're going to be rewarded in points for that. The more points you get, the higher rank you are. Now, as you increase in ranks, you're going to get both attacking and defending buffs per the rank that you happen to achieve. So when you rank up, you may go from 2% buff on attacking and defense to 3%, and so on and so forth, all the way up to 7%. So your goal should be to rank up as quickly as possible by performing the objectives and also killing the opponents. So the way the point acquisition works is there's fixed amounts of points that you can get for completing objectives. Say for imprinting an altar, you're going to get 15 points for that. But say for kills, those depend on the rank of the opponent that you actually kill. So if you kill somebody higher ranked than you, you're gonna get like 10 points for that. If you kill somebody the same rank, you're gonna get 5 points. If you kill somebody that's ranked below you, you'll only get 3 points. So if you're just shooting fish in a barrel, you're not gonna be rewarded as strongly as you will if you take down the opponent's champion. Last few pieces of advice for Fortress Siege. There's a whole ton of stuff that we can cover, and I'll cover more on Fortress Siege in upcoming videos. However, to touch on the beginner aspects of it, make sure that you come into the Fortress Siege mode buffed up. Go get your clan buffs and stuff from the clan shop. Make sure that you're, drinking potions and that type of thing so that you're, as strong as you possibly can be when you come into the arena. A clan that comes in that's well prepared and well buffed is ultimately going to have a big advantage over a clan that just signs up and comes in without any preparation at all. It's almost like having those altars on your side as you go into the battle. Once you do have the altars on your side, it's a really big swing of momentum if you do come in prepared. So make sure you guys are getting those clan buffs and those potions in advance of the Fortress Siege. One of the last things that we need to cover with regards to the siege modes, Fortress Siege specifically, is you gotta be able to bid for the fortress. That means there is a clan that owns the fortress. They're kind of sitting on it, defending, if you will. And other clans that may want to own the fortress will have to bid on that. They're going to have to put up some money, what they're willing to put up as a clan in order to have a shot at taking down the fortress. Now, what do you get if you win the Fortress Siege? You'll actually get a permanent buff. Not permanent, but while you own the fortress, you will have a buff through all zones it varies based on which fortress you own, but it could be something like 2% to your movement speed or something like that, where it's advantageous to own these fortresses, and it's definitely helpful for, say, clan dungeons or anything that you're doing in the open world with regards to questing and or grinding. Once the bidding period comes to a close, whatever clan had the highest bid to take on the fortress will then be entered into the siege. You guys will have a chance to prepare, get things ready, and then every Friday, Fortress Siege is on, and the two clans will go head-to-head with the winning clan keeping control of the fortress, and ultimately, those clan buffs that come with it. Oh, I almost forgot to mention, in addition to the actual buff that you get to keep after siege, you also get rewarded by participating. The rewards are Adena, and you also get a hero, like a Battlefield hero loot box. You're gonna get a couple of those. Now, it depends on if you win, draw, or lose how much you actually get. But suffice it to say, if you win, you're gonna get paid. Now, if you lose, you're gonna get about half as much, maybe even a little bit less than you would if you win. So guys, hopefully you learned a lot about Fortress Siege and Open Siege mode today. Fortress Siege is super fun. I hope to bring you guys more content on that in the future. Open Siege is a way to actually participate and practice in the sieges without your clan. You can actually enter that solo, and a great thing about the Open Siege is you don't even have to play your own class, your character. You can leave that guy aside and select any class. That is awesome. So I chose to select a Spell Howler in one of the Open Sieges that I did when really I'm a Phantom Ranger, but I got to experience another class, and it now makes me think, wow, should I level up and alt? So pretty cool stuff that you can select your own character. And then also, last note on Open Siege is that everybody is on a level playing field. All of the characters that come in, you select the class, you select any ability you want, and they all come in maxed out, maxed, enhanced, maxed. So you get a feel what a maxed hero feels like, and everybody's on an equal playing field. So it's kind of a lot of parity there, where Fortress Siege, you bring your actual character and go up against an actual other clan, and your progress on your character and how strong they are actually makes a really big difference. Guys, that's gonna do it today for Lineage 2 Revolution. We talked about Open Siege, Fortress Siege, gave you a little bit of an introduction to both. Best of luck on the battlefield. Now, if you guys are wanting to play this, download it at the link in the description. And if you want to join the server that I'm on Kruma 2. So make sure you guys download it. I will see you guys on the battlefield.